Tony Mitchell is out. You heard the news. He decided to hit the NCAA Transfer Portal. Going to talk about all of the defensive backs that left after the 2023 season. It's really unbelievable. And what is not unbelievable is that Alabama sent Terrion Arnold in the first round to the Detroit Lions. We love Terrion Arnold. Everything that he brought to the table was first class. You also lost Kool-Aid JaQuincy McKinstry, who went to the New Orleans Saints. I'm curious to see how Kool-Aid does with the Saints. I think Who Dat is going to really like Kool-Aid, and I think it's a good fit overall. Mr. Irrelevant actually came from Alabama, and that is Jalen Key. Remember, a lot of people felt that he couldn't play at this level coming from UAB, ended up playing significant time during the 2023 season. Now let's get to all the guys who transferred out, which is pretty crazy. Antonio Kite, he was a 6'1" redshirt freshman, decides to head to, I guess, a different pasture, if you want to say that, and heads to Auburn. I don't know how big of a loss it is, but, Antonio Kite out. You also have Caleb Downs, and let's be real, this was a really big loss. Played in 890 snaps, freshman All-America. I think he was one of the best defensive players in the country as just a freshman. You also have Des Ricks. Des Ricks hit the transfer portal. Believe he ended up at Texas A&M out of the IMG Academy. I still don't understand why Earl Little Jr. took off. I really felt that he could have played this year sooner than later. Now he's at Florida State. Wish him well. I thought he was a really good prospect. I thought he was going to play here at Alabama. Same thing with Jake Pope. I still remember that big booming hit that he had on Jermaine Burton back a couple days ago. Really liked his game, and him going to Georgia I think is a good pickup for the Bulldogs. Then you had Jameer Grimsley. This one was interesting. Before Grimsley even hit the portal, Billy Napier tweeted out some sunglasses. I mean, my goodness. You got to think with all this tampering that is going on, and who knows? I don't know if this was tampering, but I mean, the sunglasses kind of implied that they already knew who they were getting. Then you also had Christian Story, who did an amazing job for Alabama at the high school level. Didn't really see him on the field that much. Ends up going to Kentucky. Were you surprised about this one, undefeated? Peyton Woodyard is headed out of Alabama, and the likely destination is Oregon. Now, when he entered the transfer portal, he had a no-contact clause, meaning he already knew where he was going. Oregon, likely destination. You have Tony Mitchell, who entered Tuesday, April 30th. What are your thoughts about this? Remember Matt Zenitz of 24/7 tweeted out, I guess a week ago, that he was going to hit the transfer portal. Then he said it was all cap. And tonight we find out that it is true that Tony Mitchell hit in the portal. I still feel that if Trey Amos would have stuck around, he'd be a day one starter opposite side of Damani Jackson. I really liked his game, and I think he's going to do a really good job with Ole Miss. Talking about the transfers that have come into Alabama, you're going to have Damani Jackson out of USC. Depending on how he gets developed, this guy could turn into an NFL-type player. He's going to be an absolute day one starter and has to play a pivotal role this year with the Alabama Crimson Tide. You also have Keon Sabb. Keon Sabb is an electric-type player. I think he is going to be probably one of the best defensive players on Alabama's team. No doubt. I think he comes from Michigan with a lot of experience, high-level player. And then Alabama also added this week, there's been a lot of news floating around, is Cameron Howard out of Charlotte. Now, just a freshman, but he did play in 12 games. I want to ask you this. Out of all the guys that have left, Antonio Kite, Caleb Downs, Des Ricks, Earl Little Jr., Jake Pope, Jameer Grimsley, Christian Story, Peyton Woodyard, Tony Mitchell, and Trey Amos, which do you think will be the most impactful loss for Alabama? In my opinion, I think it's easy. I think Trey Amos. Now, I also think that a healthy Tony Mitchell would be able to contribute this spring. He was never 100%. He always had that hamstring apparatus, and I felt that that limited him. I wish he would have stayed. I think he has big games. Same with Peyton Woodyard. Do I feel that he would have been a day one starter for Alabama this season? No, but I think in time he would have developed into that player that he's going to be. If Oregon is his destination, I think he's going to do really well for the Ducks. Hate to see him go, especially so early in the process. I want to get your take undefeated inside the comment box. What do you think about all these transfers going in, going out, but specifically with Alabama's defensive secondary? And remember, Alabama's defensive backs coach was really Nick Saban. Nick Saban was the guy every single day working with the secondary along with Travarius Robinson. So Alabama not only lost all these players that we're talking about, but they also lost Nick Saban, a true defensive coach. Now, you do replace those secondary coaches with Mo Lindquist and Colin Hitchler. Those guys, I felt, did a really good job this springtime, getting to hear from them. Those guys are true professionals. I think Mo Lindquist can certainly develop some guys. But, of course, no one can be like the GOAT. I appreciate you guys watching this video. Please give me a thumbs up inside the comment box. And I want to hear from you one more time. Who do you think will be the biggest impact in terms of who Alabama was losing from the transfer portal? In my opinion, it's certainly Trey Amos.